my brother-in-law Daniel on his tractor. So
let me get you set up for the show right quick. For years, a fellow builder was working on it way back then, and I seen it and I was like, man, I'd love to have that kit. And this was one of my raffle prizes at the show. So I'm excited to check it out. We'll check out a few of these things like this, and then we'll do some work on the pickup here. Who knows what we'll come across to end up doing? We'll find something, I'm sure of that. I'm absolutely sure of that. Adam Mosier, how are you, man? I lost you earlier, and my phone just like, I don't know, it did nothing. I could not call you back. I could not get anything. So I'm just like adding to the disaster. We're not really cleaning anything up. So check that out. I'm sure a lot of you has had this kit, or some of you have had this kit and seen it before, but I like it because it has a really cool look to it, and it's got that retro look, so I like it. I like it for that. The theme of cams this year was long roofs, so I'll definitely be able to remember where I got it from, hopefully. Just kind of going through, checking everything out, making sure it's all here. That would be a cool Pro Street build. That would be cool. I got to meet so many guys up there this weekend at the show, and faces together was so cool. Now I'm kind of excited and energized to maybe be able to go to a few shows and things like that. So that's cool. I believe it needs to be fender skirts, maybe. I have never got to see one of these kits up close that I was willing to tinker with, because the guy that I seen have it was building it. So the Revell kit, I believe, is going to be a super cool kit. Tail lights, muffler. There's a few loose pieces in there. I knew it had been open when I got it. That's not a problem. Nathan, I appreciate that, but the feeling was definitely mutual. We got to actually hang out. That was a highlight, many highlights of the weekend. But it was great to be able to catch up and actually get to meet you. And James Bear, how are you? We're going through a kid I picked up at the show. I got to go to Cam's this weekend in Salina, Kansas. First show I've been to in 20 years. So I don't know, Adam. I think that's part for me. For me, I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the attraction to it, is because it has the retro 57 Chevy fins to it. I think it's cool. You are definitely not going to change my mind that this is cool. I decided to build it. So this was, like I said, this is one of my raffle prizes that I won. I never enter a raffle that I expect to win, so that was pretty cool. I need to be able to do that. I'll hide my decals back in the instruction booklet there. At some point or another, some lucky feller paid $9.99 for that kit, or $11. I'm not sure why that has two prices on there, but Mr. Bear, how are you? What's everybody working on? I'm doing an auction in Jump tomorrow night, trying to get situated for it, back for the show next weekend. Nice. All right, I'm gonna have to remember that you're having an auction, because I want to be there. This is my favorite place to hang out, is at Mr. Bear's auctions.
I think we got the camera set right this time. We got the wide angle view going on.
Nice.
So your head actually fits in the camera this week.
Fits in there?
Yeah, it does. We put the wide angle
Must have
view
got a
on
bigger camera. Yeah, Nathan, I've got to find the pictures of that minivan that I did and send to you. it was awesome. There was a lot of awesome vendors there, a lot of stuff, all kinds of stuff there. Um, like I said, and I've never been to a show that that kind of caliber. Back moons ago when we had our hobby club, had our shows, we were getting them there. We were getting built up, um, which was really cool. And then it life kind of happened, I guess. We lost a little, kind of lost some of our older members and some things like that. So it just kept us from getting bigger. So then this was another one of my door prizes, or one of my raffle kits, I should say. A 31 Ford Woody. That screams rat rod material. You can't beat that. If you guys know me, know that rat rods is something that I'm all sorts of crazy about. So, and I got the 48 Ford Woody, and the reason I picked that one up is because my son Corbin built the one that he has for the moonshine run. So that was awesome. Yeah, he's got a couple set in here because he's finished these up while he was home over the summer. But as I bump his Toyota around here and knock his hood down, he's gonna love me for messing with his stuff while he's gone. Okay, we're not gonna touch it. But this is the one that my son built from that kit. I can't even begin to tell you the laundry list of things that he done to that kit. It does have a Dark Horse 5.0 motor in it. It has Mustang front suspension and rear end. Like it is definitely had a lot of changes done to it. So it was pretty cool. So that was why I picked that one up, because I want to see if I can do something at least halfway that cool with it. I was the one that got called second place in the juniors. Okay, so that was great because it's like, wait, what? There was a couple things like that that was just super cool, super funny stuff like that. The one guy, they said that he had won in the, let's see, what was it? What class? Oh, the oval track competition class, and he's like, I didn't have a car in there, so that was pretty cool. Let's see, wasn't expecting the participant voting and stuff. Oh yeah, and I didn't know I didn't really know kind of what to think. I do like it. Cam's really put on a good show, and I wished I could remember the names of some of the guys and stuff, but I'm terrible with names. Um, yeah, he didn't. He didn't even have a circle track car in there. It was an impressive build. I could not see anything wrong with it at all. Um, but they done an excellent job there. Just super friendly people. Everybody there was super friendly. Um, got to meet the guys kind of from all over the place, but Nathan talks about the AK hobbies. I wish I had my wallet with me because I don't have none of my cards. But I got to visit with all the guys there and kind of be able to just enjoy, like what we call this, some shop talk. We got to enjoy talking shop, talking about building models, and you know, everybody has them horror stories of things that go right, things that don't, stuff like that. We all have those, and we all got to share that a little bit. So that was cool. Like, yeah, go take the trophy. You won it for Pittsburgh. Now go get it. And I'm finally back where the coffee pot is very readily available. I believe over the weekend I might have drank maybe 4 cups of coffee in 2 days, and one this morning was decaf.
Your blood's got to be all screwed up.
Yeah, it was. Right? I was going through withdrawals.
Did you already go over your trophies?
I didn't. I don't have my trophies unboxed.
I mean, what you want for what, which build.
Yeah, I gotta get them set together just so that I kind of know. But I did. I did place, and I thought I'd done very well for what I figured I would do. I was plumb shocked that I even placed. So I don't ever go to place. I don't. It's not really wasn't my thing. I was plumb shocked when I did though. It was really cool to see all the guys work get appreciated that did, because there was tons and tons of cool builds there. Get to wander around and see everybody's stuff and see the stuff that they do, and be able to see how everybody's work gets done different, and the things that everybody does is just, it was astronomical to see that. So the Master Awards, they were, yeah, yes, Nathan, and I'm gonna brag on you here a little bit, Nathan. Nathan took home 2 Masters Awards with his diorama shop, and being able to be part of seeing that build come together as he was doing it, and then to get there and actually see how much stuff that I could have never even guessed was going to be there was even better. We'll go through the bot stuff, uh, just because I'm kind of stoked about some of it. The one kit that I've been hunting for a long time for a bottom kit. The trash truck. Like, to me, that is cool. I like stuff. And so a trash truck fits right up my line of oddball stuff, I guess. Oh,
You do have a viewer on that other channel.
sweet.
We are up to 81 subscribers.
Hopefully you guys are able to see it. Guys, I had not forgot you. I'm just I'm still running on
Empty.
I'm still running on empty. I'm out of coffee. No, I'm still running on energy from the show. I have not wound down from that yet, which is cool. Nathan's awards for the diorama, the Master Builders, was most detail and members' choice. So it was really cool, well deserved. I got to talk about these. This is cool. I entered them. I could have placed in diorama with the 269 Camaros, but I didn't have the base. Oh, right on. Yeah, I tell everybody. I was telling Nathan this. I get diorama block. I have a tough time putting dioramas together because I don't. I get so far. I'm like, that doesn't really look real, but So these came from, and it's says Tab Scale Auto, guys. It is Todd Baker that I got these from, and I'll show you what they are. I'm gonna take one out. I'll show you. I looked for these all the way down there because I thought this would be a cool idea. Lo and behold, somebody else had them too. So yeah, that's awesome. I kind of got to see some of my pieces and parts in there and see the work that goes around them, which is cool. So you're at a show and you got your 50 Chevy there that has only half of its parts, but it has a hood. So this is cool. I think this is a neat way to display your hoods. So you can set Todd Buckles is the name. See, I'm telling you, I'm horrible with names, but faces, builds, things like that, I'm a lot better with. So yeah, you can set your hood up on them, and it's just a little clear. I would almost say like an easel. kind of type picture rack thing. So I got me some of those to put in my box. I'm going to get my boxes back together for going to shows, I hope. Those will go in there. I'm sure, well, I know if you guys get a hold of Mr. Todd Buckles on Facebook, and I know he's there because him and I found out we were friends prior to our meeting up at the show. So if you guys get a hold of him, you need some of those. I got them for $1 a piece. He sells them for $1 a piece. Well, you can't beat that. What can you get for $1 anymore? I'll put that back in the bag here. We got this one here is, I know exactly where these are going to end up going to. These are going to end up going to Corbin because they are the JDM style cards that he loves. RX-7. This one is loose in the box. Got a lot of loose parts, but he says it's inventoried and it's there. So I'm happy with that. Cool JDM style stuff. We don't get that stuff here. If we're gonna find these kind of cards or these kind of kits, Fujimi, Aoshima, Tamaya, all that stuff, we got to go get them from the internet or order them from somewhere. So it's really cool. It was neat, definitely neat. I like the wagon. I don't know. I like oddball stuff, I guess. So, and that wagons fall into that, I think. So when Corbin gets on and is checking it out, he'll have to hit me up, tell me what he thinks. It has some rather smooth tires in it. Rex, how are you? Thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully this summer, my son will be back and my daughter will, maybe life will slow down and we'll be able to see some of their builds again. Emily has been working on the Nautilus that she started and just slowly kind of making progress on it. So hopefully we'll get to see more of that. That'll be cool. Then the last two here of these we'll go through, but I think I'm going to open these up and check them out because these are Mobius Ford kits, or Mobius model kits of the Mercury Comets. I'll get my gears together here. This one is the K-Code Mercury Comet 1964. Looks to be kind of the, I would say, stock version of it. Adam Mosier actually had gotten one of these and he recommended it to me. He's like, this thing's cool. And he's like, so I found one at the show and I picked it up. This one is the Pro Touring 64 Mercury Comet. So we'll have stock and Pro Touring.
You didn't get the Adam and AMT kit?
I should have. I definitely should have. He loves them AMT kits. And of course, I am a builder, so I'm going to peel that cellophane off. I'm going to take in that whole new kit experience and open it up. This one is the stock K-Code. I'm always nervous to take these out because they don't ever go back in.
Wendy says she loves the trash truck.
Excellent.
Her
I do
husband
too.
works for a trash truck company.
Really? Wendy, you need to get your husband to send us some pictures of their trucks for reference because we had a trash truck here for a long time and it got ate by the iron processors. So we do not have one here for reference pictures anymore. So that'd be kind of cool. So you guys will see the chrome. Any of you guys that knows the chrome work and things like that of different companies, there's definitely a difference in it. Mobius stuff is just absolutely beautiful crisp, clean stuff. We got our clear parts here. It's kind of an odd molding color. Kind of reminds me of, I think it was AMT that used a molding, kind of a tan color. But our body lines and our mold lines and stuff on this are going to be so crisp.
She said I'll ask them to do that.
That would be awesome.
She is on our YouTube page.
Oh, cool. I knew that if I'd have thought about it, because
she's very ecstatic that she did not have a headache today. So she's got a kind of a rare condition that causes rare headaches. So that's good to have pain-free days. When you
yes,
get
it is.
You know, you kind of have those things that
that is the smell.
You just so many things go right when you're looking for things to go right, and you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. In my case, I'm waiting for a tank to drop because there's been too many things that have gone right lately.
Just don't ever look for that. Don't ever look for that. Go wrong.
Like today,
Jeff, how are you?
Today's deal is totally exciting.
So there's not as like the mold lines and stuff like this in the Mobius kits. You won't see near as much of things like that. If anybody's familiar with the Mobius kit, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that aren't, and you get the chance to get a hold of a Mobius kit, like we're seeing pin molds here, but none of them are really deep. None of them are, all that bad. You're not seeing any kind of mold lines and stuff out here. And so that's, to me, is amazing. Not that it steers me away from any kits. If it's a subject I like or something like that, then mold lines don't bother me because they're fixable. Nathan, we're going to have to figure out how to make the new car smell in them now. Now you got my gears turning. Tires. Their tires are another thing that is definitely above standards, I think. The mold of the tire, as well as the detail that's in them, the feel of them, how rigid they are. They are a hollow tire, which is cool. But they're just definitely good quality stuff. I'm trying to keep everything in the bags except for the body, I guess. And then of course we have all the parts and pieces, the interior pieces, front end, rear end. You guys can see that stuff there. The motor parts. You got set for dual 4 barrels in it. I'm sure the instructions will give a variants of motors and things like that, but I couldn't tell you without going through it. That is another thing that I guess we can show is the instructions for a Mobius kit. I'm trying to do a box stock Ford Ranger. Wish me luck. That shouldn't be too bad, right? Box stock is tough.
Okay.
So try to get them in here. You guys can see they're like full color instructions for our YouTube friends. You guys can see the instructions here, and I'll get another set out for comparison. Hopefully I can fold these back the way they came out of. We'll see. I'm excited to see the International Scout, Rex. You had me at International. So this is the Revell instructions versus the Mobius instructions. So I don't know, it's just cool. A lot of neat differences in them, I guess. Now the trick is, and I will say Mobius is very good at model kit Jenga because they can put everything in these boxes and close them. Now, normally I cannot, but that worked pretty good. So this one is going to be a lot the same, I believe, but I can't say that for definite. I should have bought that. Should have brought the half international truck. Oh, that would have been absolutely. Yeah, Nathan, there was a lot of things. I'm like, man, I should have brought that. I should have, so next time. Hopefully we'll be able to plan a little bit more and get to go again next year. Would be great. I'm gonna open this one up because I wanted to see this was the main thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see the wheels and tires, just because wheels kind of make that. They kind of make it when you're modifying something. The wheels are, to me, a big part of it. You can do a lot to a car, in 1/1 scale even. You can do a lot to a car and nobody ever notice it. You put wheels on it, and it's like, oh yeah. So in my opinion, it makes a difference. Rex, if you get the chance to get you a Mobius kit to build, or they're very, very impressive kits. So I believe that's gonna be the main difference. I guess the chassis and stuff may be a little bit different, I suppose. But that was the cool treasures from the show. Now this is gonna make its way to being a project sooner than later, I'm sure.
Wendy asked what you were saying about international.
Okay, so Rex Harpool Shorty, he is one of our members of Wolfpac Customs on the Facebook site, Wendy. He is working on building a international scout. I am a true blue international fan. I actually have, between my son and I, we have three 50s internationals. We have a 51 international L110, a 51 international L120, a 56 international L110 or S110. Our S series is a short box 4-wheel drive. They're all in they're all in different stages of being done the way we want them, but we're international nuts. So anytime I hear international, I pretty well forget about everything else that's going on.
In a 74 International Lodestar.
Yeah, my brother-in-law has a 74 International Lodestar. My brother Corey has a 51 International L120, a 53 International or 54 International R110, and he has a 51 International L160 truck. And then my brother Daniel has a 60s International truck. So I guess we're all a little bit international crazy. Nathan Reisdorf picked this up somewhere, and he brought it to the show to me because it's got that triple diamond international logo on it. So he knew I would be super excited to be able to do something with it, see if I could salvage it, save it. So it is, and I'm not sure what you would call this plastic exactly, because it's I know there's a certain name for it, and I know as soon as I say it, it's going to be wrong. And Jimmy and Bridget, how are you? So yeah, there is pieces here to it, and there's hit and miss as to what's here, but I definitely see that it's going to be something I'm going to at least weather up and build a junker out of to put on my shelf because it's international. So there's the hood. There's the bed. There's fenders for the box. I do not see or believe that there's front fenders, but they're one of these. Two of these have to be front fenders. These are the front fenders. What is left of the front fenders. So, you know what? If anything else, it will definitely rust up nicely because a lot of it's rusted away already. It looks like it's rusted away. I just think it's cool. And Nathan thought of me when he found it, so that makes it even cooler. We talk about this all the time. We talk about the story, the backstory of the piece that we're working on. So this is definitely going to have a really super cool backstory. So, I mean, I'm goofy that way, I guess.
Wendy says her dad used to drive an international pickup that he replaced the bed with a wooden railed bed. And you'll like this part, with the gas tank in the center behind the rear window, like a beer keg that somebody's got in their current line.
That's awesome. Mine actually nearly ended up with a keg tank because I could not and have been unable to find the tank for it, a good fuel tank for it. But my son is putting electric over hydraulic dump setup on my pickup. So I ended up having to go back to a different fuel tank situation or setup on it. So yeah, that was my show treasures. Um, Hopefully you guys will get to see some of that stuff make its way onto the bench, stuff like that. Always exciting getting new model kits. We'll try to gear up here. We'll get a little bit of work done at least on the 50 Chevy, or at least move forward somewhat on it. Last week we were working on the frame just a little bit, trying to fill. We had to stretch the frame. There's a guy here with a bunch of international trucks. Now, see, that's just starting to sound more and more enticing to come up there now. I'm getting just a little bit of flex in that joint, and I don't really like that too much. I don't want to have to pop this apart to fix this, but I would rather pop it apart now and fix it than to have it come apart later on me. But it's just this one side is having a mild issue. Scott's standing over here behind the other camera, so I'm like,
Trying
okay,
to
buddy.
see. Oh, there's
How
JD
you
on the
doing?
camera. Now you know what he looks like.
Ah!
Well, this one is set up for the live because I can't very well do it on my computer.
Yeah.
That's not going to show anybody what you're doing, and that's the way I scheduled it. Was on my computer. My webcam is on my computer, so I can't. It's not going to be able to show anybody what you're doing over here. So I had to come back to my phone, but my phone is where the live is. So I have no idea who's watching.
Robert, how are you? Thanks for coming in. I don't know what you just said. Like
my camera's right here.
I know you were speaking English, but
My camera's right here on my computer. If I go live on my computer from here, it's not going to do anybody any good to see what you're doing.
Oh, so you're live. Okay.
So I'm live on my phone, but the only way I see what's happening with the actual live itself is if I go back to my phone and look. Okay, there's 3 people watching and 2 likes. See what I mean?
Steve Smith, how are you, man?
Is that the guy from Goodland?
That's Future Steve.
I thought you called him Scuba Steve once. Was I not supposed to say that?
Peter Rabbit, you know that nicknames are interchangeable at earliest convenience for everyone.
God, you gotta have the drop.
My brother-in-law has been lovingly nicknamed Peter Rabbit here.
Yeah, and it seemed to have stuck really
my
bad.
older brother Daniel, he
I think
definitely
I was lipping off about
handed
something
him
one
that
day.
nickname, and it's definitely stuck. So
I think I was lipping off about something one day, and he's like, "Here, listen here, Peter Rabbit."
get the fuel tank here. We'll get some pieces going together here. I do have the bed. We primed it last Sunday on Shop Talk, and of course it's still sitting in the paint booth. I gotta get my I gotta get in gear, get done what I'm supposed to be doing. Brother, that's a good thing to be doing some relaxing. So yeah, I got the rust oxide primer on the box. I think I'm getting some of the world's longest builds here because I've been putting glass in the claw machine for weeks. Just cleaning up them. I'm tired of the mispronunciations, so I just tell people, call me Dorf. Fair enough.
How do you say his last name?
Reisdorf.
What do they call him? Reisdorf?
When he says he's tired of the mispronunciations of his name, it is you may never know what people will pronounce it as. It's like Valentine, you know. It's definitely a hit and miss on how people pronounce that. Todd Ryan, how are you? Brother Steve says, can you 3D print a motorcycle license plate? I can, Steve. The only downfall I may warn you is resin printing is relatively fragile. So I don't know how it would hold up to actual use on that, but I can. My 3D printer I have right now is big enough to accommodate that, but I cannot tell you whether it will hold up to use or not. The gas tank is another thing I'll glue together before paint, just so I can do away with a lot of the seams in it. They just start throwing in letters. Most Reisendorf is the most mispronounced. Yeah, I can see that. I think he was at one point. I think at the show you were Reisendorf. Like the second time I heard somebody say it, I believe that was how it came out. After they got it the first time. It's entirely possible the issue you found with the kit is more the builder than the. I mean,
Looking for part 40.
What does part 40 look like?
I told you they weren't there. I wouldn't lie. I'm not sure how it jumped clear down to there, but I guess I did. Okay, moving on. I can't be called Peter Rabbit no more because Peter Rabbit is apparently smarter than I am.
Back to normal programming.
Wendy says her cousin 3D print actual houses in Michigan.
The very first 3D printed house in Topeka, Kansas, or in Kansas, is being done in Topeka, and it is almost completed. So that's really cool. Wendy, I'm interested to know how those hold up, like over time.
To me, they wouldn't seem to hold up out here very well. But maybe that stuff's stronger than what it is.
Well, and I think, and Wendy, you might be able to tell us this. I think they use a concrete type material to print them with. But I'm not sure.
Yes, concrete.
I seen the thing about the one in Topeka. I seen that on. I believe it was on the internet. Of course, it was on the internet, but I think it was on Facebook or somewhere like that. They were talking about that.
They withstand. It's made out of concrete, and they withstand. I'm going to assume that was gale force winds, but she typed in hassle. So
Hassle.
I mean gale. Okay.
Hassling.
Gale force wind.
Well, Kansas is full of hassling winds. Trust me. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that would be a thing? Who would have ever thought we'd see that?
I never would have. When you started 3D printing that little thing you have over here in the corner,
Yeah.
I mean, to look at that and go, people are building houses out of that.
Yeah. And I've seen some videos of how it's done and things like that, and it's very impressive, for sure. I think so. And we might have talked about this last week, and I'm forgetful, so we'll go over this. We'll go over this again. I think that at least the bedsides and everything should be the same blue as the cab. Just simply because, in my theory or my idea of the story behind this, high school kid may have bought it, drug it out of the weeds or whatever, putting it on an S10 chassis and his dad in the garage, just making it drivable and not worrying about the body, just getting straight panels on it from a parts truck. And so I feel like the bed would be the color of the cab. Whatever, I forgot I was saying. I'm kind of forgetful. Sometimes I forget. I forget. Oh yeah, I forget what I was talking about.
Me too. Like where this intake came from. But it's not mine. Mine is glued on. Well, Wendy, how much does it cost, or do you know? You better type that in.
Bring this over in front of the camera, show everybody. I just put a light coat of paint over the bed and one fender. I'm going to do the other fender to either match this one or the door there.
She says $100,000 to $300,000.
So kind of, I mean, right in line really with building a new home, I would say. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were talking, put in perspective of what we come across today and what we got and what it would cost to build that from the ground up.
Right.
We got a pretty good deal.
So I think I will do. This was the fender that should have been blue. That's okay. I can fix it. we're gonna do the tailgate in the off-white, like it came off the parts truck, because the tailgate would be something that would be awesome.
She says the material is cheaper, but the work is costly. I don't know.
Well, and I could understand that, because you're paying for experience and you're paying for knowledge that is new to the market. So I can understand that.
Lynn Badger Pack fan is now. Blessings from the Goat Raider from Wisconsin.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome to everybody that's here on the YouTube side and on the Facebook side. I'm glad to have everybody here. The best part of this hobby is connecting with other people in it.
I like how we're touching both sides of the audience.
What did you just say?
I knew when I said that you were gonna come way twisted with that. We're connecting to both sides. You know, like the Facebook and the YouTube
Why
side.
don't you go out in the other room and sit down and think about what you just said?
Wendy, do not repeat that.
You're
okay. Put
you're
this
about
thing up against it. Because the rest, everything else is chrome.
So, if it was me, I would hook it to right here.
That's probably going to be in a body mount somewhere.
If I was you, though, okay, preferably I would take my parts out of the paint booth before you paint those.
Are we done?
Well, they're not dry, but they're done being painted. You can just set them out somewhere. I don't know, just set them out amongst the pile of disaster that I have everywhere.
Surely. All right, primer, right?
Yes. I would go with gray. I do have that rust oxide primer, but that I use mainly to start the weathering effect like this. Yeah. Just wandering around aimlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I had taken a small assortment of tools with me to the show. That was one thing that my older club members always told me. Do not go to a show without tweezers, glue, a knife, things like that. Basic tools, your dusting brush, things like that, which my stuff is always covered in dust, which is horrible. But, hey, Corey, how are you? Mr. Corey Lasher is in the group, in one of these, in the house. Yeah. What do we use that one?
I'm sure I got one of these outside in that Connex book.
Corey, what do you got on the bench? What's everybody working on? That's my favorite thing to ask. That's my go-to thing when I can't think of anything else to say and somebody new comes in. I did touch up some paint, and I did it purposely in a different blue because I am going to sand a lot of that off. But you guys can see, and I'll tell you why I did it. It's because when I peeled my tape off, it peeled paint off. So in this hobby, we are, doctors. They get to bury their mistakes. We have to hide ours.
And you thought what I said was bad.
What? Cortland, how are you? Welcome in. Always awesome to have my nieces and nephews stop in.
That's the engine department.
When I stretched the frame, and I'm sure you guys was part of this, but I laid plastic inside of there, which you'll never see it, but I do want it sanded down the best that I can. I did pick up a few flyers or was handed flyers and picked up a few flyers for other shows that's coming up in the area. One in Nebraska, where Nathan Reisdorf, Mr. Reisdorf, is from the area that he's from. So I'm hoping to get to attend a few of them. One in Wichita, Kansas. I'm going to post those up in the group, and I'm going to do my best part to get those flyers out so that people can see them. That's always one thing I have struggled with is just not being in the right place to find the flyers or to see the flyers. And so I'm going to do my best to get those out. One in Kansas City area and one over into Missouri. And when I get my boxes unpacked, guys, we'll touch base on some of that stuff just a little bit more here and there as we go through. Be able to share that information with you guys. As we know, the old motto here in Wolfpac Custom Shop is put a lot of Bondo on and sand it till you have a little Bondo left. Priming my block up for it, but it's gonna need a little bit of sanding on it just to smooth up a few spots. Once in a while, I am guilty of not getting my primer shaken as good as I should before I use it. And rust oxide primer seems to do it worse than gray primer. It will leave almost leave a flocking or a flocked texture behind, which on a transmission or on a block wouldn't be bad, just because it is kind of leaves almost a cast texture to it a little bit, but I'm gonna have to get the old constructions out here. Back when you used to build models at the dining room table when I was a kid, this was what you put down on the table to protect yourself. Just in case you'd spill paint, it did not get on the table. No, it was not to protect the table. It was definitely to protect yourself. All right. This is showing that our valve covers need to be black as well. Got to find my spring for the engine. And I believe it got put back in this box. It did. Look at me go. I could put a set of the bucket seats from the S10 parts kit into this. Would be an option. or I can go with the original old bench seat in it. Trying to make for sure I get the right one in the right place. You guys might not believe me, but I do try to make as few mistakes on Shop Talk as possible. I don't mind making mistakes. I just don't like making them when people are looking. Brandon White, yeah, Brandon Coolman. I see you're still in. I seen you got a new group. I believe it is Facebook group. I did. I do believe I did join it the other day. We definitely tried to give a shout out to everybody that's helped us out here. And I forgot to do it earlier, which it doesn't really matter when I do it. But Wes Hurst at Wes's Model Car Corner for everything they do for us. Sparky's Model Car Salvage, Brian Jensen. Sparky's Model Car Salvage is on Facebook and YouTube as well as Papa Bear Hobbies. James Bear, he was in earlier, hang out with us for a little bit. And then, of course, my brother-in-law at Life of the Wolfpac. Farm Life of the Wolfpac.
But you had that other stuff
So
we
that
had
is,
written down, didn't you?
he is on YouTube. Yeah, Sparky's.
No, my two.
No, you wrote them down and then you had them wrong and then did you
Model,
fix them?
Pizza Model Custom and Red Scrap. Yeah, Red Scale Scrap.
Oh, yeah. A couple of the guys that watches us on YouTube sites, Pete's Model Car Custom and Red Scale Scrapyard. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to have everybody doing their thing. Oh, Mr. Bear is still here. Awesome.
Pizza
Yeah,
guy from England.
that guy. Thanks for following its page. Groups are hard to control for selling. Excellent, excellent. So yeah, if Brandon Coolman, if there is anything we can do to help you promote and do that, we are all about that. Absolutely. I really am a small fish in a big pond, but it's really cool to get to. It's really cool to get to swim with the big fish like you guys. So that's awesome.
I believe Pete comes back later on and watches. Because he's from England. So it's kind of like 1 or 2 in the morning.
A little different time zone there. Yeah. Did you take my paint tray, you crackhead? Oh, never mind.
Oh,
I take back all the things I just said about it.
Rabbit to crack it.
Oh, did you take my paint tray? Peter Rabbit? Sorry. Sorry, I pronounced Peter Rabbit different than some. Like Nathan said, I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I just started throwing some letters and stuff in there. My hobby room in my house was field day, getting ready to go to the show Friday morning. Like I got my stuff, and wherever everything landed, that's where it stayed until I got back. And it, thanks to my amazing and loving wife for coming in this afternoon and starting to clean up my disaster I left here, but everywhere in the house while I got ready for shop talk. Brandon, I'm gonna might have to hit you up on some decal work and stuff like that. I know that's what you're doing, and so Bert Kenner, how are you? Guys, it is awesome to have you guys come in and hang out with us and share the passion for the hobby, uh, being a part of what we're doing, as well as getting to be a part of what you guys do. Guys, feel free to post work up out in the group. If you got ideas of things you'd love to see me do or try to do, attempt to do, message me or post out in the group. If you guys want to see me build something in particular, absolutely. Getting this little 50 Chevy off the bench, and I'm going to be starting to work on something a little outside of my normal wheelhouse. I'm going to be doing some work on Nathan Rice Dodge that he sent me. Steve, the YouTube channel is Farm Life of the Wolfpac, and you will see some pretty crazy stuff on there. For example, we have recently flipped a trailer house over with 930 case. Um, some cool stuff like that. You know how we are. You know how it is. Steve, you probably know us. You probably know me well, or more so weller than some. You know, yeah, I do it all from custom to making home sheets. I can draw anything. That is awesome. That is really cool. Steve, you're going to have to make a trip out. You are not going to recognize the farm, brother. Things are looking a lot different here. It is almost unbelievable, the difference that we are making here. So we need to get together sometime, have a barbecue. I don't care what we do. We can send some lead sailing in purpose-filled directions with machines intended to propel it. We can do all kinds of things. We'll find something to do. It'd be cool. I can wait till Scott falls asleep if I could hold bear and then poke him with a stick. Just, why not? Well, we don't even have to wait till he falls asleep. We can just poke him with a stick. Scott, I didn't hassle you for like 5 days. Absolutely. That would be cool. I will be here. I am going to be sticking around home, or my brothers are going to be like, you are absolutely no help at all. You're always gone. I've been off and gone for 4 or 5 days here, running, eating a day. Trying to make sure I get all my spots covered up on this thing. I do agree. It has been way too long. I'm gonna step away from the camera because I gotta go get water in my pants. I should have announced that Peter Rabbit was gonna sing one of his original songs while I was gone, and he could have sang. But sorry, I didn't cue you in there. Oh, where'd you find that at? What's that? It might be. It might be Clovis. We don't really know. We got a motor block and transmission painted the satin black. We'll be able to start assembling it. I'm slowly moving towards where I'm supposed to be going. I'm kind of cheating on this one because I am putting the frame assembly together, and then I'm just going to paint it black or rust it, whatever I decide to do, weather it up. But I will probably paint it up, kind of have the resto mod look to it. I have a terrible bend in my loop bottle unplugger. And Scott jinxed me.
I am so glad you are having this. As your daughter would say, I love that for you.
Yeah, but when she says it, I really feel like she does love it for me. You say it feels kind of hurtful and sarcastic. It's funny when you open one of these up at first, you never have that trouble with it, and then like slowly it just gets worse and worse and worse. Which this one's about done for, so I won't be having that trouble very long. I'll bring out my Jacob Gray. So it's just, you can just bring it out and leave it with me, and I have no doubt in my mind that I will love it and cherish it like it's one of my very own. Yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. That sounds fun. What do you keep doing that for?
Checking out the traction.
Yeah, why are you always messing with stuff?
Well, it's a habit. Let's see how Daniel's doing there.
Deal. I've got to rework the ends of my leaf springs. So when I was trimming them down, I boogered this one up. So I'm going to cut them off, and I'm just going to rework the ends of them to have the detail that it should have on them. But I'm going to glue them to the frame first. Then I can add my detail into there. And I did do it. I trimmed them down because I was getting the lowered stands that I needed for the truck. I just got some small triangle stock to make that mount so that it adds that detail back in that I kind of boogered up on my own. I did it to myself, but and I will go in and file and do some sanding and reshaping just a little bit. Let my glue set. Can you keep it down? I'm trying to concentrate, sir. No, no luck with it. Now I can go in and clean them up just a little bit so that they fit the part better. Or I can admit that I'm rushing the process and that I just broke one off. So I'm gonna stop messing with it. Hopefully, I can't guarantee that, but start cleaning up the interior tub. Why not? Move on to something instead of messing with the same piece that I know I shouldn't be. I really should paint a lot of this stuff up the week, during the week, so that you guys aren't seeing me do this same thing over and over, paint stuff, and then wait for it to dry. Okay. What do you guys think? Should we go with the original seat, or should we go with the bucket seats out of the S10? That is a definite question, because either way is going to look cool. I'm kind of thinking to go with the S10 seats, because the old seat in the 50 Chevy was rotted out, sun faded, nothing but springs left. I don't know, whatever you want to say, but so the kid says bucket seats will be good enough. Glue them together. We're going to see if we like it. We can decide as we go. And if not, we just have them glued together and cleaned up for the quad cab. We will have to find a bench seat for the, not quad cab, for the extended cab. Either that, or like we talked, put the little jumper seats in the back. Just cleaning up mold lines. We add some seat belts and some things like that to it that add a little detail. Stuff them down, take the worst of it off with that nail file, and then kind of found that if I go back with one of these little sanding blocks, it takes a lot of them tooling marks off. So you're awful noisy for being bigger than you are.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult.
It's one of those complimenting insults. Glue these together, and then I always go back and fill that mold line in, that joint seat line or whatever you want to call it, before I paint them. My glue bottle had leaked in my box that I took and stuck to the cotton batting, like a lot of things. My clamps, the glue bottle. Luckily, not a model kit. Thank goodness. Hopefully, I'm not knocking the YouTube friends and family's camera around here too much because I was bumping it all over the place.
I think I'm gonna have to find some paint.
Some paint.
More color. Can't show you. I sent you the picture. Oh, it's on my phone. My phone's busy.
Okay. Oh, you're so fancy. Look at my fancy brother-in-law. Ooh.
It's the project tribute thing.
Clean up our seat, our bench seat, so that if we do decide that's what we're going to do, then it'll be all cleaned up and usable. I always thought it was weird. These 50s, 49, 50 Chevys like this, the battery sits in the floorboard in a box on the passenger side. I just thought that was weird. Fun fact, I should say. Fun fact. That's where the battery's at. The floor pan for this has the base of the seat in it. So to put the bucket seats in there, I will have to either remove that or build a center console in it or something to cover up some of that, because in the real thing, I don't know if that was actually built up like that or not. Short run to start. Oh yeah, that would make sense. That would make for short battery cables. Had a 1/1 49 Chevy 1-ton state salt truck. I had a flatbed on it. It's since been rehomed, but that's where the battery was. That's how I knew it. Jeff Romanowski, how are you? Thanks for coming in, hanging out, seeing what we're doing. We are actually trying to be productive at the hobby bench this Sunday. Let's see. I narrowed down the stand sanding stick for things like this. I filled the spot on the gas tank that would definitely appear to leak gas everywhere. I do need to get on. We've talked about this doing the dirt track event. I do need to get on our schedule because I know that should be coming up. I want to draw my. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying there, Nathan. I'm not going to put the gas tank up and underneath because I do want it a different color. I'll do it kind of a steel gray. I just really kind of like the bucket seat idea in it. I really do. How many of us are sitting at the model bench right now? I've been curious about that lately. How many people actually are, they sit down at the model bench during shop talk and get to work and on stuff, or if everybody's just listening to me rattle on while they're doing other stuff. It's a nice center console. I think I'll borrow your center console. Then it says, nope, I'm giving the kiddos baths. Well, that's a good thing to be doing too. When I watch auctions and stuff like that, well, when I watch Mr. Bear's auctions and stuff like that, I usually come in and sit at the hobby bench, driving home at the moment. Fair enough. I like to come in though and sit at the hobby bench, work on stuff, watch the auction, and besides, if I'm working on stuff on the hobby bench, hopefully it's keeping my hands busy enough. I'm not bidding on stuff I don't need. Kind of a light blue color. I wonder if that was a Chevelle paint code by chance for the 69. Would be a good place to start. You hear that? I would think so. If you got posable thumbs and the ability to run a laptop or device that you can type on other than a typewriter, you old crusty fart, you could probably Google it. These pieces here, I always forget these as well. And I need to. These two little pieces go in between the door and the fender there. And I need to paint those up because I always forget those. The key ingredient. By the looks of the hobby bench, I don't know how anybody makes any sense of this disaster. got black paint speckles on my white tailgate.
I think it gave it characterization.
It does. I like it. I'm keeping it. Right, right. That was exactly what the purpose of it was.
In my defense, the tip was sticking on the black paint can because I could hear it whistling. So, and it was not the joint between my feet.
I was speaking with and talking to some of the older builders and things at CAMS this weekend, and one of the older guys says a good tip for building models is to work on 3 things at a time. And he says that way, when you get at a point where you're kind of stuck on one project, then you can move to the other one and you're not rushing your projects. And that does make sense. It really does, especially you guys have seen it here 100 times over. You'll see me kind of rush a project a little bit because I'm anxious to work on it. And I'm trying to keep things, moving in the live without it just setting and being stagnant or whatever on the build side. So it does make sense. And that's the kind of logic I can get behind, I guess. I often have more than one thing going, I suppose. I definitely often do have more than one thing going. That doesn't always mean that I don't rush the project still, but we got our little rocker panel pieces primed up there. Get them drying. Might as well sand our Bondo on our frame, our spot putty. I still say if you go buy a used vehicle and you look underneath and the frame has a bunch of Bondo on it, run. Smoothing up the spots where I'm patched it up. Definitely kind of a tough spot to get into on the frame there, but you want everything as smooth as you can possibly get it. The key is to make it look like it never happened at all, like you didn't ever Like I never had to cut that frame and extend it at all either. You don't want to see that kind of stuff if you can keep from it. Sculpt it to the shape it's supposed to be, I guess you could say. Of course, getting into those little hard to reach spots is always fun. And we'll be able to put a coat of primer on that to see how those look. Scott, you want to turn that exhaust fan on? I'm starting to be able to hear my hair grow. As I tell you that, but I didn't turn it on earlier over there, but I'm forgetful. I can remember to tell you what you're not doing. Shape those little blocks we put in to repair the ends of the leaf springs. All right, you guys can be able to see a little bit of changes there anyway. Not much, but a little bit. Every little bit counts, isn't that what they say?
It's blew the motor.
Knock the stuff off.
Paint can with the shiny black tape up there.
Yeah.
It's the spit and split.
normal brush stroke, bottom of the interior pan. I'm gonna brush paint it black. I'll probably do some changing to it. I'm not sure. I know I will change the add some weathering and stuff like that to it because it would be the bottom of the cab. So I will add some weathering and things like that to it. That way it matches the cab better. The great part about doing the weathering is you can sand back through the paint. You can change a lot with layers of paint, things like that. And as we did on the cab there, I believe I would probably paint this with the same blue underneath, inside and out. Then that way I can weather it to make it match the cab. With the brown and the black, then I can sand through like we have on the outside of the cab. I should have primed those. I didn't even think about it until I picked them up and started painting them. I should have primed these door panels, so they might be a little bit different. So we may end up having to prime them. Anyways. Again, I'm hoping to weather those back, or planning to weather those back. So rust oxide primer those. Prime the frame. A nice layer of primer on the frame so we can see how them seams that come out where we stretch the frame a little bit. Get our transfer case glued together, painted aluminum. Hopefully this week I will get some time to get in here and get some stuff done up ahead of time for us so that we're seeing more of the process than to just glue them together and then wait for paint to dry. Hunter, how are you, man? Glad you could make it and hang out with us. We're kind of slowly winding down for the evening. Just doing pieces, put pieces together. Really just trying to get a game plan, get something going smoother, I guess. Trying not to lose our parts and pieces. Pull out marbles. Gonna rust oxide primer the inner firewall so we can get it matching the cab good. I keep stepping on something over there on the floor. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel too slow. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably a cut off chunk of styrene or spring or right there it is. Cut off a chunk of styrene. Stepped on it with my bare feet. I mean, they're human feet, but it still didn't feel good. I had been trying to get man, that cat was far ready for August. Yeah, a lot of work goes into that stuff. Those guys that just go watch them, like, well, that was cool. We don't realize what goes into it. Let's see if our head parts and pieces are dry enough we can start sanding them back just a little bit. Keep them with that. We're going to do the same thing on our bed that we did the cab. Just going to slowly take the paint layer off. exposing the rust oxide underneath. Not everywhere, but in just some places. I'm going to have to flip this upside down and spray it because I missed parts of it. So that isn't really necessary to start the weather on that. This fender is going to be the blue one. This fender is going to get some green coloration to it. Oh, excellent. Well, I've never done a derby car. I had a race car, but never done a derby car. So. I just want to burn through the blue paint and not through the rust oxide primer. Because I want that rust oxide primer to show like we have in places. We got a Cavalier and a Camry. Nice.
It's going almost taken out now. I didn't want to start nothing else. It's too soon. My frame and motor are still there.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them people that like to work ahead.
Did you say you're not one of them fellows that likes to use his head?
That did only use it in short people's houses on their doorways.
Uncle Bob would always tell me, why don't you try using your head for something other than a hat rack? What's good advice, really?
For sure. Maybe if I had taken that advice and had more hair.
All right. You guys can kind of see the wear starting to come through the paint. And that's gonna match our cab. That's our goal is to have that match the cab. know what that means. That means they're still in there.
It goes to make a nice fence rail. Like a quarter sidewalk up to my front door and use those as fence railing kind of thing.
Yeah. To the kindling pile. But of course, we got to do our finish doing our bed. But we can at least have our fenders ready. I'm sanding this back, same as I did this one. But this one, I added some green paint to it. And I probably will do the same thing on this one and see how it comes out. Because this is the side that we want to be a little different from the cab. I could do it white. I could do it that cream white color if we wanted to. Kind of going with the theory that, this was the side that got the most roughed up and things, whatever happened to it prior to getting resto modded. So that's kind of the story behind it, or the theory behind my weathering pattern. Well, we have gained a little bit tonight, a little bit this evening here on it. I do appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. We're gonna wrap things up. Uh, hopefully, hopefully I will get into a better groove of getting things going again. The projects, be able to get some things going a little smoother. I do appreciate everybody hanging out though and spending time with us, checking out all the fun stuff we do, and getting to be able to hear about our travels to the show and stuff this week, and checking out our treasures from there, and getting to see everything we got going on. You guys, get you down here off the mount up here, the camera or the phone holder, show you the disaster of the bench. And we gained a little bit. There's always progress, I guess. As big or small as progress is, it's still forward momentum. Um, look forward to seeing you guys' builds in the group, seeing what you got going on. Um, Look forward to seeing everybody next week on Shop Talk Sunday at 7 p.m. And we will see you guys then. Keep on building. Keep being the best part of Wolfpac Customs.